Show and September 11th, we all remember it. And our guest today is author Jesse Richards. He's going to talk about Unknown New York. How are you, Jesse? It's a kind of day you think about every time where you were on September 11th.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show. And It's a day to think about everything that happened and think about New York, and that's the connection here. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And where were you on September 11th?
I wasn't in New York yet. I was living in New Jersey. But I remember at my job, everyone gathering around and watching the TV on that day and knowing some people who were in New York and unfortunately lost people and struggling with that. Yeah, it's difficult.
It's absolutely difficult because you think about it and it's just like the day will definitely live forever in so many minds, regardless of where you were on September 11th. But let's just jump really quickly into why you wrote the book, Unknown New York.
Yeah, so it's a book, collection of my artwork of lesser known places in New York and the city. And it came out because I run a drawing group in New York. We do sketching throughout the city, and I've run it for the past 17 years. And I amassed a collection of art and decided to put it together in a book and found increasingly obscure and interesting facts and weird things about the city that I love for people to know about.
All right, give us some examples.
Yeah, okay. So in Soho, there's a room filled with dirt in an apartment. It's just filled. It's an art exhibit that's been there since 1977. In Midtown, there's a waterfall you can walk through and see it under glass. It's very, very cool. Edgar Allan Poe's house from the 1840s is preserved in the Bronx. It's this little cottage. And what's crazy about that is that 90 years later, that's the spot in that park where Batman was created and all of the
Oh,
Batman
wow.
characters. And then 90 years later is today. So you see these layers of history in New York that are so fascinating everywhere, really, but New York's very dense with it.
No doubt, because New York's dense with it because of situations. I mean, there's so much historical stuff to go find there that it's very obscure. So, how did you kind of came up with ideas of things that people really didn't know about in New York when you made this book?
Yeah,
Wrote
yeah.
this book?
I walk a lot. Our family, my wife and daughter and I go on what we call family adventures, and we'll explore a new neighborhood and just walk around and find things. And then I'll do research around to see what sort of hidden other things there are in that neighborhood. And there's a lot everywhere. Yeah.
Oh my! All right, so let's talk more about some of the other things that are interesting. Because again, what's cool about the book is even if you tell everything about it, it's not going to hurt it because everyone's going to need the book as a resource to go and find all those things in New York.
Yeah, exactly. And the combination in the book of the artwork, I think, really brings out uh interesting aspects of the sites that you might not have realized. So like for example, there's the cable building, which used to have these huge engines in the basement that pulled the cable cars that New York used to have. Before it had subways, it had cable cars, just like San Francisco. Um, Freeman Alley is this alleyway filled with street art and stickers and posters that changes all the time, and it's beautiful. It's funny because New York doesn't have a lot of alleys. When you see alleys in movies in New York, they're often just filmed on a set in LA. But Freeman Alley is very, very cool with all this decoration. There's a house on 18th Street that's decorated for Halloween all year round with these crazy sculptures all over it. There's a lot of stuff.
Wow, it seems like there's definitely a lot of stuff, and New York is so hard to explore, right? It's a venture in so many ways.
It's an adventure, but it's easy in that you can walk anywhere. It's a walking city. It's probably the most walkable, pedestrian-friendly city in the country. And just walking around, that's what I always encourage tourists to do. Just go for a walk through one of the interesting areas of the city, not necessarily just Times Square, but the Village or Central Park or all these different places.
But make sure that you don't just rely on GPS, right?
Well, it's a grid. That's one of the things that's made it successful. Manhattan's pretty easy to navigate.
Well,
Um,
Manhattan, but what about the other boroughs?
yeah, the other boroughs are a little more challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's mostly at Manhattan. The ones.
The Yeah, the book's about 80% of the entries are in Manhattan, I think. But I've got some from the other four boroughs as well. There's definitely lots to explore there.
What has been the feedback so far about the book?
People like it. I also volunteer for this group called Big Apple Greeter, where we take tourists around and show them lesser known neighborhoods. And we had an event yesterday. And so these are volunteers who love the city, who know all these details, and they're still excited to find out more of them in the book, which is very cool.
Is the book will it help you navigate to find those places the way you wrote it?
Yeah, in the back of the book, I put some walks together with different themes, so you could just follow one of those if you like. Yeah,
Are people asking for more now? Do you think you're going to make another one with more?
I could easily. There's just so much. I had to cut a lot for the book, so I definitely could. Yeah.
What is your favorite of the ones?
One of my favorite spots in the city is Block Beautiful. It's a block, it's 19th Street between 3rd and Irving, that the architecture is so stunning and different and unique, and the landscaping, that it's actually called Block Beautiful, and it deserves it. And it's a really beautiful spot.
All right. Where is the best place people can find the book and pick it up? Where can they go?
You can find it wherever books are sold. I saw it in Barnes and Noble yesterday. You can go to Amazon, wherever you like.
All right. We appreciate it, Jesse. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. You're listening and watching.